All right, so we are at the Donald Trump 2016 election interference trial. What is it now? Day 10? Day 9? I think it's day 10. Anyway, so let's get right to what happened today. Oops. A lawyer who negotiated a pair of hush money deals at the center of Donald Trump's criminal trial called Thursday his gallows humor reaction to Trump's 2016 election victory and the realization that his hidden hand efforts might have contributed to the win. You didn't think that you were actually helping him win an election? What? How dumb can you be? That was the point. What have we done? Attorney Keith Davidson texted the then editor of the National Enquirer, which had buried stories of extramarital sexual encounters to prevent them surfacing in the final days of the bitterly contested presidential race. Oh my God, came the response from Dylan Howard. Again, how dumb are you people? That was the whole point of the negotiations. Or did you honestly think that burying bad stories wouldn't have an effect? What, did you think the Access Hollywood tape would be enough to sink in? Granted, a lot of people probably thought that, so yeah. But no, burying stories that could have helped didn't. I just don't see how you thought that wasn't going to hurt him. Either you didn't want him to become president or you wanted to hurt him so he wouldn't become president. Which one was it? There was an understanding that our efforts may have in some way strike that. Our activities may have in some way assisted the presidential campaign of Donald Trump, Davidson told jurors. Yeah. Again, that was the point of all of this. What did you think you were doing exactly? The testimony from Davidson was designed to directly connect the hush money payments to Trump's presidential ambitions and to bolster prosecutors' arguments that the case is about interference in 2016 election rather than simply sex and money. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has sought to establish that link, not just to secure a conviction, but also to persuade the public of the significance of the case, which may be the only one of 4 Trump prosecutions to reach trial this year. Which is so pathetic. So disappointing. Anyway. This is sort of gallows humor. It was on election night as the results were coming in, Davidson explained. There was sort of surprise among the broadcasters and others that Mr. Trump was leading in the polls, and there was a growing sense that folks were about ready to call the election. Granted, I think even Trump was surprised that he won, but still, again, what did you think the point of killing those stories were? Davidson is seen as a vital building block for the prosecution's case that Trump and his allies schemed to bury unflattering stories in the run-up to the 2016 presidential election. He represented both porn star Stormy Daniels and Playboy model Karen McDougal in negotiations that resulted in the rights to their claims of sexual encounters with Trump being purchased and their stories then getting squelched in exchange for money, a tabloid industry practice known as catch and kill. He is one of multiple key players testifying in advance of Michael Cohen, the star prosecution witness and Trump's former lawyer, and personal fixer, whom Davidson has depicted as determined to protect Trump at all costs. Trump's lawyer sought to blunt the potential harm of Davidson's testimony by getting him to acknowledge that he never had any interaction with Trump, only Cohen. In fact, Davidson said he had never been in the same room as Trump until his testimony. He also said that he was unfamiliar with the Trump Organization's record-keeping practices and that any impression he had of Trump himself came through others. I had no personal interactions with Donald Trump. It either came from my clients, Mr. Cohen, or some other source, but certainly not him, Davidson said. The line of questioning from Trump attorney Emil Bova appeared intent to cast Trump as removed from the negotiations and to suggest that Cohen was handling the hush money matters on his own. Have these people never heard of mob bosses ever in their frickin' lives? Are you seriously going to say that mob bosses should never have been found guilty of anything ever in their lives because they had other people to do their dirty work for them? Really? I mean, granted, it's their job to defend Trump, but still. Bova also noted that Davidson had been involved in similar hush money payments for clients that had nothing to do with presidential politics. Yeah, like I mentioned, what was it yesterday? Arnold Schwarzenegger, grilling him about previous instances in which he solicited money to suppress embarrassing stories, including one involving wrestler Hulk Hogan. Oh, yeah, I forgot about him. I know that he's had some exploits. I can't remember the details, but by the time Davidson negotiated hush money payments for McDougal and Daniels, Bova asked Davidson whether he was pretty well versed in coming right up to the line without committing extortion, right? I had familiarized myself with the law, Davidson replied. Earlier Thursday, jurors viewed a confidential agreement requiring Daniels to keep quiet about her claims that she had a tryst with the married Trump a decade earlier. The agreement, dated less than 2 weeks before the 2016 presidential election, called for her to receive $130,000 in exchange for her silence. I knew that David Pecker was like that, but Keith Davidson too? This is either a really small world or just scum find other scum. What the hell? The money was paid by Cohen, and the agreement referred to both Trump and Daniels with pseudonyms, David Dennison and Peggy Peterson. I'm going to say that wasn't Trump's idea. Not for the pseudonyms, but the actual pseudonyms. It is understood and agreed that the true name and identity of the person referred to as David Dennison in the settlement agreement is Donald Trump, the document stated, with Trump's name written in by hand. After the $130,000 payment was made to Daniels, Trump's company reimbursed Cohen and logged the payments to him as legal expenses. Prosecutors have said in charging the former president with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, a charge punishable by up to 4 years in prison. Again, I think that's for every count, not 4 years total. Anyway, but then again, white-collar crime is so weird with the sentencing, so who knows. While testifying Thursday, Davidson also recalled Cohen ranting to him about Trump in a phone conversation about a month after the 2016 election, complaining that he had been passed over for a job in the new administration and that Trump had yet to reimburse him for the Daniels payment. He also recalled Cohen telling him that Trump was, okay, English people, very upset when the Wall Street Journal published an article that exposed a separate $150,000 National Enquirer arrangement with McDougal. That he and Trump. Okay, so English fine. All right. Who he has said she and Trump had an affair just days before the election. What was I going to? So about him not being reimbursed. Really? You know Trump. You know he doesn't pay his people. Why are you surprised? I swear, some people think I'm special. They wouldn't do to me how they're going to screw over everybody else. And then they're shocked when they're screwed over. How narcissistic do you freaking have to be to think that you're somehow special and that this guy with a history of screwing people over won't screw you over? He wanted to know who the source of the article was, why someone would be the source of this type of article. He was upset by the timing, Davidson said of Cohen. He stated his boss was very upset and that he threatened to sue Karen McDougal. I've got to say, this is not making Michael Cohen sound very good. And he's supposed to be the star witness. Now, granted, you don't have to be an angel, but still, he's kind of throwing Michael Cohen under a bus, which, I mean, he did already pay for it, but still. Trump has pleaded not guilty and denied relationships with either woman, as well as any wrongdoing in the case. Before the start of testimony, prosecutors requested $1,000 fines for each of the 4 comments by Trump that they say violated a judge's gag order, barring him from attacking witnesses, jurors, and others closely connected to the case. Such a penalty would be on the top of a $9,000 fine that Judge Merchan imposed Tuesday related to 9 separate violations that he found. The defendant is talking about witnesses and the jury in this case, one right here outside the door. Prosecutor Christopher Conroy said, "This is the most critical time, the time the proceeding has to be protected." You know, this is probably why Trump wants his attorneys to attack everyone, because he can't, I guess. Because he wants his attorneys to attack everyone. Witnesses, the jury, the judge. I guess that's his workaround on the gag order. His statements are corrosive to this proceeding and the fair administration of justice, Conroy said. Trump's lawyer Todd Blanche countered that Trump's candidacy and the massive media attention he receives have made it impossible for him not to be asked about or comment on the trial. Nobody's saying he can't comment. You just can't attack people. Why is this hard? I'm not sure. Do these people know English? Do they understand that there's a difference between a comment and an attack? He can't just say no comment repeatedly. He's running for president, Blanche said. Again, there's a difference between commenting and attacking. Merchan did not immediately rule on the request for fresh sanctions, though he indicated he was not particularly concerned about one of the 4 statements flagged by prosecutors. Yet the mere prospect of further punishment underscored the challenges Trump, the presidential candidate, faces in adjusting to the role of criminal defendant subject to rigid courtroom protocol that he does not control. It also remains to be seen whether any rebuke from the court will lead Trump to adjust his behavior given the campaign trail benefit he believes he derives from painting the case as politically motivated. Like I said, that's probably why he wants his attorneys to do the attacking, so he can circumvent the gag order. But, yeah, it's not like the attorneys have carte blanche to attack people left and right either. So, but yeah, that's probably what was going on in that pea-sized brain of his. Um, so that is all I have for today. Um, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else before I sign off. Nope, I think I covered everything. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.